Welcome to Math-o-tropism. Today we are going to see about transversals, the angles made by the transversal and a pair of lines, and we will be considering a particular type of pair of lines, the parallel lines. First we will see what a transversal is. It is a line that intersects two or more lines at distinct points. We are going to consider any pair of lines, and we will consider that another line is passing through them in such a way that it is cutting both the lines into two halves. So here M and N are two pair of lines, and my line L is called as the transversal. Now this line L is intersecting M and N at two distinct points called as the vertex P and Q. So the point P is the place where L and M meet, and similarly point Q is the place where L and N meet. Now we need to know terms related to this diagram of pair of lines and a transversal. First we will see about the interior and exterior of the lines. The area in between the lines is called as the interior portion, and that area which is away from the interior is, or on the other side of both the pair of lines, is called as the exterior portion. We are also going to name the angles made between the lines. Now let us consider L and M. Since this is an intersecting line, we know that there are four angles formed around that point P. Let them be numbered as 1, 2, 3 and 4. Similarly, L and N intersect at Q, and the angles around the point Q is 5, 6, 7 and 8. When we are talking about the pair of lines and transversal, we will be talking about these angles. Now there are different names given to the angles which we have just put. First is exterior angles. The angles which are present in the exterior part of both the lines cut by a transversal is called as the exterior angles. So we can see in the exterior region, angle 1 is there, angle 2 is there, angle 7 is there, and angle 8 is there. We are considering both the lines now. So angle 1, 2, 7 and 8 are called as exterior angles. Similarly, the angles which are between the lines M and N, that means 3, 4, 5 and 6 are called as the interior angles. Next we will see about the other kind of angles formed between a pair of lines and a transversal. So the first one we are going to see are the pairs of corresponding angles. Here, first I will list out what are all the conditions for knowing the corresponding angles. Then I will list the pairs one by one. So for the pairs of corresponding angles, one thing we must remember is they have different vertices. So one angle from the intersecting point of M and L will be considered, and other from N and L will be considered, because since different vertices means the angles around P and Q are going to be corresponding angles. Also they are on the same side of the transversal. What does that mean? Here the transversal is L. So if we are going to consider the angle for M and L which is on the left side of the line, then the same left side only we should consider for the line N also. Also they are at corresponding positions relative to the two lines. That is, already we have seen right or left. Similarly, above or below is also going to be considered. So let us start. Let me first consider L and M intersecting lines. We will start with the angle 1. Now, which position is the angle one in with respect to the transversal and the line M we should see. One is on the left side of the transversal L and above the line M. So same way we should see for the line N also. So that angle which is on the left side of L and above the line N is nothing but angle 5. So it means angle 1 and angle 5 are the corresponding angles. Similarly, we will complete all the ones which are on the left side. So what is the left side angle apart from 1 near the line M? Angle 4. It is in the position of left of the transversal and below the line M. So for N also, which angle is to the left of the transversal and below the line N we should see. So that comes to 8. So it means angle 4 and angle 8 is the next pair of corresponding angles. Now we will go to the right of the transversal. So which angle is to the right of the transversal and above the line M? That is angle 2. Similarly, which angle is to the right of the transversal and above the line N? That is angle 6. So angle 2 and angle 6 are the corresponding angles. Last one is to the right of the transversal but below the line M. That is angle 3. Similarly, to the right of the transversal and below the line N is 7. So angle 3 and angle 7 are also the pair of corresponding angles. So we can see that we have 4 pairs of corresponding angles. Remember, they should be from different vertices, which means we have to consider each line at a time, and it is related to the corresponding positions with respect to the transversal and the lines. So the different pairs are 1, 5, 4, 8, 2, 6 and angle 3 and 7. Continuing, the next one which we will be seeing is the pairs of alternate interior angles. Now what do you mean by alternate? Previously we saw same. Now we are going to see opposite side of the transversal. Alternate indicates that these angles are at the opposite sides of the transversal. Again we will have different vertices and they are on the opposite sides of the transversal, and since the name itself is telling alternate interior angles, so as we already saw, interior angles means the angles which are in between both the lines. So when we are taking the lines, we have to now see angles which are below the line M and above the line N in the interior region. So we will start with angle 4, which was below the line M and on the left side of the transversal. So now alternate to that means on the other side and below on the line N. So what is on the right side of the transversal and in the interior of the line N? That is the angle 6. So 4 and 6 are the alternate interior angles. Similarly, to the right of the transversal and below the line M we have the angle 3. So when 3 is coming, alternate to that is on the left side of the transversal and above the line N is the angle 5. So 4, 6, 3 and 5 are the pair of alternate interior angles. Similar to the interior, we have also pairs of alternate exterior angles. The same logic but only with respect to the angles above the line M and below the line N, which are not in between the lines. So when we are considering To the left of the transversal and above the line M, it is 1. Now alternate means you should see for the line N where it is to the right of the transversal and an exterior angle. So which one is that? Angle 7. So we have angle 1 and angle 7 as the alternate pair of alternate exterior angle. Similarly, another exterior angle for the line M is 2. So alternate to that, when we talk about line N, we have the exterior angle 8. So angle 1 and angle 7 and the pair of angle 2 and angle 8 are the pairs of the alternate exterior angles. Next we are going to see about pairs of the interior angles on the same side of the transversal. So now again we are going to talk about the interior angles, which means the angles which are between M and N. So what were the angles? 3, 4, 5 and 6 were the angles, and we are going to consider them on the same side of transversal, means to the left or to the right. So remember, these interior pairs of interior angles on the same side of transversal are nothing but co-interior angles, or they are also called as allied angles or consecutive interior angles. So on the same side of transversal, when you have the interior angle 4 considered for the line M, then the interior angle for the N, which is on the same side of the transversal as 4, is 5. Similarly for the angle 3, same side but interior is 6. So 3 and 6 are one pair of co-interior angles. 4 and 5 are the other pair of the co-interior angles. Now just we will be recapping whatever angles we now looked into. But what I will do now is, I will, instead of taking horizontal pair of lines, I will take a vertical pair of lines and make a transversal cut through them. So I am considering the lines M and N are vertical pair of lines and L is my transversal. Again I am numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I will be just listing out one by one. So first one we saw were the exterior angles, that means the angles which are not in between the lines but are on the either ends. So what are all the angles which are up which is before, that means on the left side of M and the right side of N. So angle 1, angle 4, angle 6 and angle 7 are the exterior angles. Similarly, the angles which are in between both the lines are the interior angles. So what are those angles? Angle 2, angle 3, angle 5 and angle 8. Next we will be seeing about the corresponding angles. So when we see angle 1 and angle 5, both are on the left side of left side of the lines M and N and above the transversal. Here we are not talking about right and left of transversal but above and below, because the line is in the horizontal position, that is the transversal L is in the horizontal position. So we will be seeing with respect to the transversal above and to the left of line or the right of the line. So first one, angle 1 is above the transversal but to the left of M. So which angle is to the left of N and above the transversal? 5. So 1 and 5 are the corresponding angles. Similarly, when we take 2, it is above the transversal to the right of M. So which is the angle above the transversal and to the right of N? It is 6. So angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding angles. Next we go to the angle 3. When we see 3, you have to the which angle is below the transversal and to the right of the line N. So 7 is there, and similarly 4 is to the left of the line and below the transversal. Which angle is below and to the left of line N, that is 8. So 4 and 8 are the other pair. So totally there are now 4 pairs, 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 4, 3 and 7, and 4 and 8. So the corresponding angles we have listed out all the ones. Next we go for alternate exterior. So exterior means we will be seeing 1, 4, 6 and 7. So 1 is on the left side of the line above the transversal. So we should see which angle is below the transversal for the line N. So which angle is that? 7. Since we are talking about alternate means opposite. So 1 and 7 are one pair. Similarly 4 and 6 is the other pair. Similarly, we will see for alternate interior. So when we are taking angle 2, which is above the transversal, then we should take the for N, the one which is below the transversal. So 2 and 8 are a pair, and similarly angle 3 is below. So for N we should see above. So 3 and 5 are the other pair. Finally, co-interior angles. We know co-interior angles, interior angles which are on the same side of the transversal. So above interior angles are 2 and 5, below interior angles are 3 and 8. So the co-interior angle pairs are 2 and angle 5 and angle 3 and angle 8. So this was how we will be doing. So when we are seeing diagrams, don't get confused when we have horizontal pair of lines and vertical pair of lines. Everything will be the same. Just remember to identify which is the interior of the line, which is the exterior of the line, which is above the transversal or below the transversal, or right to the transversal, left to the transversal, and with respect to the lines also, whether it is on the right, left, above or below. Accordingly, we just need to remember the terms. Corresponding means both at the same position of above and below, or right and left. Similarly, alternate exterior. Exterior angles there are only 4, and alternate means opposite sides of the transversal. Similarly, interior angles which are on the opposite sides of the transversal. Similarly, co-interior on the same side of transversal. There will be 4 corresponding pairs of corresponding angles, 2 pairs of alternate interior angles, 2 pairs of alternate exterior angles, and 2 pairs of co-interior angles. Till now we had seen about a pair of lines and a transversal. Now we will take a particular case of pair of angles which are nothing but parallel lines. Now what are parallel lines? Parallel lines are those will never intersect and will have a common distance throughout between them. So these kind of lines are never going to meet. Now we are going to arrive at the pairs of all the corresponding interior, exterior and co-interior angles for these kind of lines. So similar to the previous one, we are going to draw lines M and N and a transversal L, but in this case we are taking M and N are parallel lines, and I am again numbering the angles from 1 to 8. So first we will start with the corresponding angles. So let us first identify the pairs of corresponding angles. The only thing in parallel lines is the corresponding angles are going to be equal. So when we see on the left side of the transversal and above the line M, 1, similarly above the line N is 5. So 1 will be equal to angle 5. Similarly, angle 2 will be equal to angle 6. Angle 3 will be equal to angle 7, and angle 4 will be equal to angle 8. Next, alternate exterior angles. Here also, if the lines are parallel lines, then both of them will be equal. So when we talk about the exterior angle 1, so what is the exterior angle 1, which is alternate to 1, but near the line N there are 2 angles exterior for 8 and N, which is 8 and 7. Now which angle is alternate? That means on the opposite side of the transversal, angle 7, because angle 1 and angle 8 are both on the left side of the transversal. So I am taking the other side. So angle 1 and angle 7, similarly angle 2 and angle 8, and both of them will be equal. So angle 1 will be equal to angle 7 and angle 2 will be equal to angle 8. Next comes the alternate interior angles. The same logic. If I take angle 4, then angle 4 will be equal to the angle 6, which is on the other side of the transversal. Similarly, angle 3 will be equal to angle 5. Finally, the co-interior angles. Only the co-interior angles are supplementary. All other pair of angles are equal. Only the co-interior angles will be supplementary. So angle 4 and 5 are supplementary. How? Let us assume angle 1 and angle 4. Okay, what are angle 1 and angle 4? Angle 1 and angle 4 form a linear pair. That means both of them lie on a straight line. So when we add both of them, then what will come? It will come as 180. But we already know that angle 1 and angle 5 are equal because both are corresponding angles. So 1 plus 4 is 180. Similarly, angle 4 plus angle 5 will also be 180 degree. This is the logic for all. So angle 3 and angle 6 will also be equal to 180, since angle 2 and 3 is a linear pair and 2 can be replaced by 6 since both are equal, because corresponding angles are equal. So remember, for parallel lines and a transversal, corresponding angles, alternate exterior angles, alternate interior angles, all pairs are equal except the co-interior angles, which are the angles, interior angles on the same side of the transversal, are supplementary. Supplementary means both add up to 180 degree. Thank you.